This video is brought to you by Heatcraft Refrigeration. All right, now what we're gonna do, I got this guy opened up. I mean, it seems like it has power. We're gonna click on active alarms, too few defrosts, system connection lost with 1 beep. Interesting. Okay, so we lost communication between the coils. Okay, so we're gonna hit monitor. Box temp is 49. Box temp set point is 37. It's in drain mode. So it's coming out of defrost right now. Interesting. So if we lost communication, that one has the green light. That one seems like it's refrigerating. While this one's defrosting, that creates a problem because they're conflicting with each other. That's why we want communication between the two. So it looks like we're pumped down. The expansion valve's at 0 steps. So yeah, this guy's in defrost. Something's up here. So we're gonna get this guy out of defrost, and then we're going to try to figure out why we lost connection, because we have comm lines running between. We have a shielded thermostat wire running between them. And we should have communication. Now, I made a video on this one a couple years back, or maybe a year ago, 2 years, I don't know, where the customer had gotten up in here and they shorted out the boards. They were like taking things apart, trying to do it, and we actually replaced both of these boards. And I know they had communication because they were working, so something happened here. Come over to this one, and there's actually ice buildup all behind the coil. There's condensation like crazy. This guy is carrying the load or something, I don't know. So this guy right now, snooze alarm, let me get out of this, home, monitor, box temps 49, set point 37, it's in, oh, this one says it's in defrost too, so they are defrosting together. Okay, well then there's that. But still, if they're not communicating, they're not going to work right. And this one clearly has, yeah, this one's expansion valve's closed down too. So this one clearly has ice inside of it. But I'm intrigued why the other one doesn't have ice, because if the box is getting left over, like for instance, look at this door. Door's staying open, so like that can cause issues, warm air coming in the box. But yeah, that's interesting, because this one doesn't appear to have ice all built up. And if anything, that coil is in a cooler side of the box, right? Doesn't get affected by the outside air as much, but this one right here gets affected by the door opening. So if anything, this one should be iced up, which makes me wonder if this coil is even working and if that one's trying to carry the load of the entire box. Something's up. We're gonna start by shutting off power, getting the ice defrosted, and then we're gonna try to reestablish communication with these coils. We are currently in the process of getting the coils taken apart, the one that's iced up. This one isn't iced up, but it has a bunch of dirt and gunk buildup. So we're gonna have a water hose in here. You can clearly see they've been leaving the door open because this is all dirt. So we're gonna get this guy clean too, since we'll have a water hose. So luckily I was able to pull the shelves back so I can just go to town with the hose real quick. Get some coil cleaner on there. Okay, so we're currently getting these guys out. Getting the blades off, make sure it's really in there and turn hard, get it to turn. And then we'll do the same for the other, and then we'll get them both out, clean them, and then we'll defrost the coil. All right, I did a quick pre-rinse on the coil, just getting it wet. Then we're gonna spray some coil cleaner. We got the Viper aerosol cleaner. Watch your eyes, make sure you're protecting yourself. Wear gloves if you can. Cleaner's safe, but you should still be careful. Okay, then we're just gonna spray it all inside that coil. Get it to penetrate really good. I got nothing underneath me, so I'm not hurting anything. You can see I moved the shelves. So we're making sure it's not going into any food. Even though it's food safe and all that stuff, we still gotta be careful. Okay, so we're just gonna get this on here, let it sit, then we'll give it a rinse. And then while that's happening, we'll get the other coil de-iced, get the ice melted, and go from there. All right, we've got the coil cleaner sitting on there. We're gonna let it sit, break things down, then we'll give it a good rinse in a minute, and then like I said, we got to get on the other one and get it all defrosted. To make this a little more effective, I'm just coming in, giving it a quick little brush, right, getting the big chunks off and stuff, and then we're Gonna give it a rinse here in just a second. Again, because there's nothing below me, it's not the end of the world if some of the foam goes down, but obviously always pay attention to your surroundings. Don't be getting it in food and stuff, you know? And then we'll give it a good rinse too. Alright, so we did our best. We got up in here, got it pretty darn clean on the back. Got the wipe down the panels and stuff as much as possible, the insulation. Still get a little bit down in here. We're trying to get all the gunk out of the drain pan up in here, so I did my best. Make sure we rinse it real good. We're currently over there defrosting that coil. Just take your time, but be thorough, you know? Come over here, we're gonna get these all washed up. This has got tons of stuff because they're leaving that door open. So we're gonna get this all cleaned while he's defrosting that coil. You can see all this stuff that's coming out of this thing. So we're making sure we rinse the drain too really, really well. Making sure the trap's clear and all that. All right, we had to defrost it. In order to defrost it, we're also cleaning the coils. So we're cleaning both of them. Andy's back there, he's scrubbing it down just because it has a bunch of gunk, and then we're gonna get it rinsed off, and then we'll finish diagnosing what's up, and I'm just kind of wiping down this gunk and stuff in here. All right, we've got the system turned back on. I only have one coil turned on though, okay? Because I wanna troubleshoot this, because I, for some reason, have a feeling that this coil's not working. And I think my suspicions are actually correct, because if we look up here right now, our suction pressure is 21 PSI, which is pretty much pumped down, but our expansion valve, the EXV, is 100% open. It's open 255 steps, and I don't think we're getting any cooling through the valve. I don't feel like the valve's getting cold at all. So something's wrong here. So first thing we're gonna do is shut this guy back off, and we're gonna check to see if the stator on the expansion valve is working properly, because that stator can fail and then it thinks that it's opening when it's not. So we're gonna check that stator first. That's the yellow solenoid coil looking thing, but it's actually a stator because the expansion valve is basically just a motor, is all it is. So using the Heatcraft manual, it tells you, and you can get this when you go through their certified contractor program. They give you like a bag that has all the parts and everything that, you know, majority of the stuff that you're gonna need. But anyways, 150 ohms from A to B and D to C. So I've got a good one right here. This is D to C, 150 ohms. So we're gonna pull this one off and test to see if we've got the right resistance across the stator winding. So if we look from A to B, we've got open windings on this guy. So we're gonna power cycle it, turn it off, connect the new stator, and see what that does for the valve, see if it'll start opening it up. I cycled power by pulling the 24 volt connection right here, connected everything back the right way, and it's pumped down, and we're waiting for the system to come back on. It's in off mode right now while it's turning on. So give it a second and it'll open up. When it turns on, it should open up that valve, and we'll see a suction pressure change and a superheat change, and be able to see and feel flow across the distributor. And it just opened. You can hear it. Now, I'm intrigued why it opened 255 steps. I'm assuming it has something to do with the fact that it wasn't working. So this thing is flowing like crazy. Refrigerant's going through. If we go back a step, you see suction pressure's at 66 PSI. So we solved one problem, but we didn't solve the communication problem. So what I think we're gonna potentially do is go check the comm lines. We'll make sure they're good. And then we might just wipe each one of the boards and start with a fresh new install. And hopefully that reestablishes connection between the two coils. But I'm still waiting for the fan blades for that one. So we're just gonna let this one run for a minute, and then it'll obviously bring the box down in temp a little bit, and then we'll do all that other stuff, checking the comm connections and stuff. Still waiting for the fan blades, but what I did, we're testing continuity through these wires, the comm lines. So we have continuity going through them, right? Doesn't seem like there's any direct shorts, so I don't see anything wrong with those. So we're gonna reestablish the connections, and then like I said, the first step I'm gonna do is just reset the boards and start with a new install and see if it recognizes it. I don't know what made it lose communication, but the wires seem to be intact. Don't seem to be an issue with those. It looks like it might have fixed itself, the communication issues, because when we powered that one on over there, the fans weren't running. And I came over here and I was playing with this one for a few minutes, and I had put it into service mode. So they were both in service mode. So I kind of think we might have communication now. So let's see, if we go into monitor, box temp. Let's see if it can see the second evaporator, cooler 1A. know if it'll show me the second evaporator here or not. I think that they connected though, because when I took this one out of service mode, the fans over there turned on. So, huh, interesting. It might have just been like a power cycling thing. Something weird. But, so here's what I think was the problem. I think that this one, the stator went bad on the EXV, so the coil stopped cooling. That coil over there was trying to make up for the other coil not working, and it froze up because it never shut off. It would just run and run and run for days trying to keep up with everything, and it just couldn't. And somehow they had a comm loss, so we'll have to see if the comm loss goes away. So we go to box settings. I do not want to go into service mode. Box set point 37, differential. Settings should all be good. I don't see any problems here. Refrigerant 448A. Primary evap 1A. I mean, it seems like we're doing okay. We no longer have the comm loss issue, so we're just gonna watch it for a few minutes, wait for it to turn back on. There it goes. It just turned on. Now I'm gonna step over here and see if this one just turned on too. This one feels like it's turning on too, so if we come over here, monitor, cooler 1B, cooling. Yeah, this guy just turned on too, but it's just barely open. Huh, all right, we're gonna give it a few minutes, see what happens. I still wanna go ahead and factory reset this guy, so that's what I'm gonna do right now, but I just put it into service mode from this one, and that one definitely shut off. So it seems like the communication issues are good, but we're giving it a minute. Yep, they're both resetting right now. And then we're gonna do a fresh install because I wanna erase all the memory that these guys have. So we're gonna do expert pin, 9s. Because these things learn off of each other, so when you have catastrophic failures, they go crazy. Configure from EV. Discovering equipment, so we're just basically doing a new install. Okay, 2 evaporators, continue. Evaporator 1, cooler 1A, that's this one. Yep. Evaporator 2, cooler 1B, that's this one. Primary evap 1A, that's this one. Condensing unit wired, no. United States. Set the time zone. Yeah, that's too far. Pacific, daylight savings. I never know if we're in daylight savings or not. I think we are. 2025, July 16th. Date's right. Hours right. Need to change the minutes to 29. Boom, boom. Air defrost. Let's see. Timed. Refrigerant is 448A. One more. There we go. Box temp, we'll leave it at 35. 2 units configured. Start system. All right, so we're going to give it a second. That one's starting. They're both reconfigured. And we're going to start from scratch like a new install just to make sure everything's good in the settings and stuff. Because, again, I don't know what happened with that comm loss. So the way that these EXVs open up, on the initial cycle, like on a new startup, it's going to follow something. But then it'll start to learn from itself. And so that's why I say when you have like a catastrophic failure, since this EEV failed, or the stator failed, I noticed that when this one would start up, it would be at 255 steps within 30 seconds. Like, that's odd. That doesn't do it that fast. And then I noticed on that one, it was only opening to like 6 steps on startup. It was kind of weird. So we just did a factory reset. It's going to relearn everything, and it bases it off of, if I remember right, the last cycle or last couple cycles or something after the initial startup. So we're going to see how that does. I got them both set up, but they are communicating now. So again, I don't know why we had the communication loss. It's possible because there is 2 different breakers, that maybe someone shut one of the breakers off and it caused an issue or something. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. But I think the icing issue more than likely was caused because there's too much heat load for one evaporator to cool down the whole box, so it was just run and run and run for days and cause ice. When this one thought it was running when it wasn't, because the stator was bad. So who knows, we'll see. So the initial startup, it opened to 128 steps. And then it's gonna regulate itself based off of the suction pressure, suction temperature, and it's gonna try to maintain the set superheat of what you want on this unit. The other one's doing the same thing. I can see it from over here. It's like 128 steps right now. So that, by resetting that one, it did what I wanted it to do. The other thing I'm gonna go in and is just really quickly verify the superheat settings and stuff and the defrost settings. So I'm gonna do that while we're waiting for this thing to get cold. The only thing I changed, the superheat settings 8 degrees, or that's what it's set for, so that's fine. The defrost, factory, it had 2 defrosts a day. Fail-safe 45 minutes, I think, or 45 degree fail-safe time or something like that, or 45 degree fail-safe temperature. I changed the defrost to 4 defrosts a day because they're in and out of this box all the time. So defrost settings, air defrost timed, 4 defrosts a day, 12, 12, 6, 6, and then 40-minute fail-safe time, 45 degree fail-safe temperature. So it either looks at time or temperature to terminate defrost. So 40 minutes max with a 45 degree air temperature max. So we're gonna leave that like that. Doing it from the one coil sets it up for both of them. So we're doing good. We're gonna go ahead and put all the panels back on and go check the condensing unit on the roof real quick. All right, we are up top. Let's see, sight glass is not a really easy one to see, but it's clear. Every once in a while you get some bubbles, but it is 448A. It has a high glide, so it is okay. If you see flashing in a sight glass with 448A, as long as it's not crazy flashing, just bubble, give it a few minutes, more than likely you're fine. It's just one of those things, you just gotta give it some time. As far as up here, condenser's pretty clean. There's a little bit of dust in there, but nothing crazy. We can see light through it. We're gonna be doing a routine maintenance here soon where we'll be cleaning these. But again, there's no need for us to come up and clean it today, it's fine. So I don't see the need to go any further with service gauges or anything like that. The evaporators are controlling the superheat properly. We've got a clear sight glass. Compressor's fine. We're good to go on this one. So when you're working on these systems, I can't stress enough, try to familiarize yourself with the installation and operation manuals or the proper sequence of operation for this equipment. I feel like I'm pretty confident working on the Intelligen systems, but it's always best to try to refer to the manufacturer. Heatcraft does a very good job of helping you when you need help, right? But the biggest thing that you have to understand is when you're calling for tech support, you need to make sure you have your ducks in a row, have all the information ready. Don't call tech support if you haven't checked voltage, if you haven't, you know, verified that the system's actually operating, that the charge is correct, like all that stuff, right? So usually what I do is in preparation for a technical support phone call is I start writing stuff down on a pad of paper. This is everything that I would want one of my technicians providing me with when I actually call the manufacturer. So that way, when I do get on the phone with them, the hope is that we don't have to, you know, call them back. Like I give them all the information and then they help me diagnose appropriately, okay? So I ended up sending this video to Heatcraft and they had some clarifications for things, some things they wanted me to reiterate, right? The biggest thing is like I said, the EEV, it learns from itself, but they wanted me to reiterate that it learns from the previous cycle, okay? So for instance, and like I mentioned, when you have a catastrophic failure on the system, i.e., or for example, the stator failed, right? On the primary EEV, right? The stator failed, so therefore it basically tried to open up that expansion valve 255 steps, but it wasn't doing anything, right? So the previous cycle, that expansion valve was at 255 steps, right? And so after I repaired it and I started it up, hence why it was open 255 steps. Now, I could have waited, I could have let the system stabilize out, the valve fluctuate, but for me, it was easier just to go ahead and wipe the boards, right, and start from scratch. Nothing wrong with that, but just understand that we could have waited, we could have let it work its way through. And also the same thing as to why the other EEV was open so low. Think about it, it was iced up, you know, and it just had its profile set up, right? So by wiping the EEV or the boards, I was able to start fresh, and it basically relearns from itself essentially, okay? Another tip that the Heatcraft tech support team gave me was that they don't know exactly what caused the communication problem, neither do I, but they said one thing to make sure is that when you are running the shielded thermostat wire to communicate from coil to coil, it has to be shielded, twisted pair thermostat wire, okay? When you're doing communication like this. Make sure that you're only grounding one side. Now, I know for a fact I was only grounding one side on here, okay? But something that they asked me that I wasn't 100% confident on was on the secondary coil, the only one that was working, was the ground wire touching anything? Even though it wasn't grounded in the board, sometimes we wrap them around the thermostat wire, right? So I'm actually back out on this job site, and I went through this today, and I verified 100% with confidence that the ground wire is not possibly touching anything, okay? So there's a ground wire ran in that shielded cable, and on communication systems, you want to ground one side, okay? So I have one side landed in the ground terminal, but on the other side, it is clipped back to where it's not touching anything. But you do want to make sure. So that was some great information that Heatcraft did give me, you know, about that, just to make sure, because we don't know what caused the comm errors. It has now been about 2 or 3 weeks since the service call. I wasn't here for the walk-in again. I was here for something else, but I just jumped up there to follow up because Heatcraft gave me that advice, right? I can't stress enough that I would highly suggest you guys consider taking the Heatcraft training. Now, they do local training. You can go to their website, heatcraftrpd.com, and I'm sure they have training listing somewhere on there, right? But they also do certified contractor training. That's what I highly suggest. Now, that does cost a little bit of money. You got to take some online stuff, but that's where you're really going to get down into the weeds and be a thoroughly well-versed technician when it comes to working on the intelligence systems, right? So that's the Heatcraft Certified Contractor Program. So highly suggest, if that's something you guys can handle or, you know, can possibly do, maybe sign up for one of those trainings in the wintertime, because trust me, it is awesome. And you get that goodie bag as a certified contractor, like I showed in the video, you know, where it gives you the basic components that you'll need to start out, you know, to start working on these systems. Now, you can build that kit yourself too. The kit comes with a board, comes with a EEV magnet, comes with a sensor, comes with a an EEV, comes with a pressure transducer, and I think that's it. There might be something I'm missing, but it just basically comes with all the basic stuff that you need to start. And it actually does help me, because I just grab that bag when I'm walking into a job site, right? So, you know, I can't stress enough, I'm not perfect in no way, okay? I try my best. That's all that I can do, right? I do my best to try to give the customer the best service that I can give them, right? That's the most important thing. So, to recap this call, we had a service call. The equipment wasn't working. What I found was the primary coil, the stator on the EEV failed, and it just wasn't doing anything. The secondary coil was trying to cool the entire box. The secondary coil iced up because it was trying to cool the entire box, and it just didn't have enough BTU capacity to absorb all the heat from the box, right? So it just ran 24/7 basically, okay? So, and then I went ahead and changed the stator, defrosted the other coil, reestablished the comms, wiped the board, started from scratch, and everything's been working fine. Now, one other thing that I did do that I didn't do, I mentioned in the video, that I didn't do in the video, I should say. I mentioned in the video that the door's staying open all the time. I actually did go in today when I was here, because I was here working on an AC. I jumped in there today and I changed the defrost from 4 times a day to 6 times a day, okay? But I did drop it down to 30 minutes from 45 minutes. So 30-minute defrost, that's the fail-safe time, and or a 45-degree evaporator. So one or the other causes the defrost to terminate. I did do that, but other than that, that is it. Customer's been happy. Everything's been good. I really appreciate you making it to the end of the video as usual. Thank you so very much. We just hit 200,000 subscribers, and that's awesome. You know, I don't really talk about the subscribers, the views, or anything like that very much, because I don't want to come across as gloating or anything like that. But I just have to say thank you to all of you that are subscribed. If you're not, please, please, please consider subscribing, okay? But it is so awesome. This is like a happy accident. This channel was never really started to start posting all these videos. It was really for my employees, but you know, it turned into something that I never expected. So I'm so thankful for it. It could be, you know, frustrating at times, but I try my best, okay? So thank you so very much. If you are interested in supporting this channel, you know, the easiest way to support this channel is literally just watch these videos from beginning to end. That really is the easiest way, okay? A couple other ways, if you're interested in doing so, you can support it via PayPal, Patreon, or YouTube channel memberships. Those are all just different ways that you can make monthly commitments or one-time donations to the channel. There's links in the show notes of this YouTube video. You can also go to my website, hvacrvideos.com, where we have merchandise such as these hats available. Again, HVACR Videos. We run that out of our home. My wife handles all the merch, processing, shipping, all that good stuff. So it's a great way to help support a small family business. I'd be very, very appreciative if you ordered something, okay? Last but not least, you see any of the cool tools that I use in my videos, in this video, go check out TrueTechTools.com. I get a good majority of my tools from TrueTechTools.com. They have a great support, great customer service. I actually have an affiliate program set up with them. If you use my affiliate code, which is big picture, one word, okay? So big picture with no space in it, all right? Just one single word. At checkout, on majority of the items on their website, you get a discount. I get a small commission when you do get that discount, okay? So check it out at TrueTechTools.com. Thank you so very much. I really do appreciate you, and I hope to catch you on the next one.